What's going on, guys? Hey, it's Anthony with the Wrenched Out Garage, and today we've got the $5 taillight upgrade for the Harley-Davidson V-Rod, so stay tuned. All right, guys, so thank you for tuning in to the Wrenched Out Experiments Wrenched Out Garage segment, and today we're featuring the V-Rod, and we're going to talk about a $5 upgrade that I did quite a while back, actually shortly after I got the V-Rod, because the taillights were just absolutely killing me. I love the bike's design, as I've said many times over, and one of the things that really stuck out to me is the bike comes with the taillight system that looks like this. And to me, you've got this beautiful bike with this sticking out of the back, and it just doesn't have any kind of appeal to me. Now, these taillights are unboltable. You can take them out. It's just a Torx head screw, and then you can pop them out, but they're just plastic with red covers on them. They are unique just for the V-Rod. As far as I know, they don't use these for any other bike. And then of course you have the lit up license plate bracket. Now again, it does stick off. It sits just about like that, and then it's covering up the rear tire. I wanted the rear tire exposed on this thing because it looks beautiful. I didn't mind the rear fender at all. I do think it has its place. It's got the LED third brake light here, or center brake light. But I just couldn't stand the way this looked. It looked kind of cheap and kind of an afterthought for it. So let's kind of walk through what we did. Now, I did shoot a video for this originally, and unfortunately, the video itself was kind of botched together. It was right when we were starting the Wrenched Out experiment, and I didn't get that great of footage. But I will show you a couple of clips from it because it does have some of the items that we used. So a couple of things that you'll need. Let's jump to the clip of the hardware. So I'm going to take the stock front Harley V-Rod turn signal, and I'm going to hook it into the back. And what I did was I went to Lowe's. This comes right off this mount. It just unbolts, and it hooks. This is what hooks into your mirror. And I went and got a couple of bolts just from Lowe's. Looks like this. I got this spacer, which is your 1/2 inch. Looks like that. They come in white. I just painted them black. And I got these bolts, which is right here, your 5/16 by 24 by 1.5 inch. Again, from Lowe's. And now what I'm going to do, I also have a lock washer as well. There's a place I'll show you on the bike where I'm going to mount this just like this, and all you'll be able to see is a small section of this with the light. So you're going to need a couple of items from your local hardware store. I just ran to Lowe's and I got a couple of nylon lockers like you saw, and a couple of bolts. Now on the front of the bike, I did remove these lights that you see on the rear here from the front. So we did go with the V-Rod muscle mirrors that are, we'll go into details on a different video, but ultimately we switched out the front mirrors, or the mirrors and the blinkers, and we took them off, and then I had these guys sitting around. Now these are obviously the factory black front mounted turn signals, and I switched them to the rear. So we already had these, so that was free. Because if we didn't use them, they would have just went back into one of the cabinets or somewhere else. So we took those off, and then I thought it through. There's got to be a way to mount this to the rear fender. Well, we found out the way to do that. Now, if we take a look at the side here, there's a reflector that sits right under this rear fender, and that reflector is just adhesive on. You can pop it off, and then behind that is the metal framing that holds this rear fender on. There's actually already holes sitting there. Now, what the reasoning for those holes are, I don't know. However, we wanted to utilize them. So obviously what we did was take the nylon locker, and then we bought those bolts with the correct distance, and then we mounted the new the new old lights to them. So obviously the only cost associated with doing this, aside from if you're gonna side mount your license plate or whatever you're gonna do with your license plate, but to relocate the lights themselves, again, is about a $5 upgrade. So we took the nylon lockers, we painted them black, and then we mounted them. Now, when I took this off, so let's take a look at this real quick. This is what it came with, and I actually used as Dremel and just ended up going under it. I drilled out there's a couple of rivets on the back. I drilled those out. The one actually I didn't drill it out, it just popped out. There's 2 rivets, so you can drill them out or do whatever you want to do with them. And then I ended up cutting this with a Dremel with a little disc on it, which actually cut it right under here. So the only thing that's really exposed is a little, actually really nothing. I was thinking about putting a cap on it, and we still may put a cap on it. I might make it out of fiberglass. I'm not sure at this point, but the wiring's very straightforward at this point because it is just a 3-wire to the tail lights, and it was a 3-wire off of the front. So ultimately you just made up the wires, wire them all in, solder them, or butt join them, or whatever it is you want to do in order to get the lights to work. And then you still have the license plate leads. Now, obviously on this bike, I haven't done the license plate lights for the license plate yet. I will end up doing a video on those because I actually have them. I just don't ride very often at night because the summers in Alaska, it stays light until 3 or 4 in the morning. And even then it's still fairly light outside. And then as winter comes in, I obviously don't ride here. But I will do a video on that, on lighting up the license plate. But ultimately, that's all we really did was take the front blinkers off. There's already a metal frame mount under it. We got the nylon locker, painted it, ran it through. Now there are obviously options on where you want to run yours because that bracket runs all the way up to here. So if you wanted to drill it out and then move it forward to where it was a couple inches off of the shock, of course you could do that as well. We do have the tinted covers over them, and then they are running the yellows. I will actually probably end up turning them to red lights. I just haven't done that at this time. I do like this setup. I think it gives it more of a cleaner, kind of wide open look, especially because at some point we're gonna lower the back down just a little bit to give it a little bit of a meaner style, and we may go to a different fender altogether. But at this time, that's really what we're doing. So again, this is really one of the easiest and simplest modifications. I have been asked from some of the pictures that I've posted on what did I do to the taillights on it, and that is it. So really all I did was had this taillight sitting, or actually they were the front turn signal lights sitting around after I did the upgrade, and thought to myself, what can I make or do different on the rear end without changing the fender at this time, because some of those upgrades are fairly expensive, and how can I do it? And this is what I came up with. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a fairly simple upgrade. I do have the relocation video. I'll put a link to that up above here. If you're interested in relocating your license plate as well. But really on this one, to give it kind of that mainstream look, to where, in my opinion, the lights actually flow with the bike instead of you having this big hunk of plastic kind of leaning over the rear tire and sitting like that. Again, I'm not a huge fan. I don't know why Harley decided to run with this. It's also just a huge piece of plastic all the way through. The turn signals look like crap in my opinion. And also with this modification, you can put any taillights you want on there. If you want to go to the Speed Bullets, the really small guys, or if you want to go to, I don't know, like an Arlen Ness or one of the other guys that you find better suits your bike, obviously the opportunity is there, as we actually may change ours over to either the Roland Sands or the Arlen Ness style, to where it has the cuts in it, so it matches the Bassani exhaust, gives it kind of that uniformed look. It also goes with our front caps. We just haven't done that yet. So hey, thank you guys for tuning in to the Wrenched Out Experiment. This is obviously the Wrenched Out Garage segment of it, where we work on the V-Rod, we work on the Camaro, we on occasion get to look at other people's rides. We do appreciate you guys checking out the video. If you guys haven't subscribed, please do so. The link's below or at the end of this video. We've got a lot of cool things planned for the V-Rod, the Camaro, the Sportster, and many other things that we've got going on. So if you're not, you're gonna miss out on a lot of cool things. Hey guys, so until next time, if you're still riding, make sure ride safe, and we will see you guys around. And of course, if you wanna catch some more of the footage that's not on the YouTube, make sure and check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and of course, Facebook as well. Until next time, guys, take care, and we'll see you around.